What's up, y'all? This is Dosha with DoshaDreamsTarot, and this is a reading for the sign of Cancer. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, or Venus signs, or wherever you have Cancer in your chart. Just keep in mind it's a general reading, so it may or may not resonate with you. So just take what does and leave the rest for somebody else. Cross watchers, ooh, the sun popping out. Yes. Cross watchers, you are welcome here, but you can't get mad if I talk shit about you, because this is Cancer's reading, so you come second, sorry. But of course you are welcome here. Just, you know, keep in mind the energy's fluid, roles can be reversed, all that sort of deal, okay? Just be respectful. Other thing is that gender is fluid, so please don't get hung up on gender. I'm going to read the energy as it comes through, so if I'm feeling something pretty strongly, I'll say it, but, you know, it's not set in stone, so go ahead and switch things around as it applies, okay? Yeah, I guess that's it. Oh, please like, share, comment, and subscribe before you leave. I really appreciate it. Don't be stingy with the likes, guys. It's really, really helpful way to. It's free and easy, and it helps the channel grow. I recommend you do it for everybody, okay? Because it really does help. So, thank you so much, Spirit, for your divine messages and guidance. Woo, we are deeply grateful, and we know we couldn't do this without you. Would you please help guide Cancer for their highest good, Spirit? Please bless us and protect us as we move forward into this reading. Okay, thank you so much. All right, Cancer. Yeah, I really have been doing things randomly these last couple weeks, and I hope y'all forgive me for the sparsity and, you know, just the fact that, you know, I'm not really doing things based on, like, elements. You know, I usually go all the way around the zodiac wheel in order, you know, so it's never all air signs, all earth signs, anything like that. But this week I really have just been, and I think I'm going to do this for the rest of the week, is just intuiting and kind of asking Spirit which sign I should do next. So that's really the way things have been going. So I hope that, you know, y'all are hanging in there and enjoying what I am posting. Please do drop comments and let me know, and everything like that. So anyway, getting further into the reading here, I'm seeing some interesting energy coming out here. I'm kind of feeling like, how do I explain this? There's a big focus, I feel like, for you on money and power. I'm not gonna lie, Cancer. I think you've been focusing a lot on, like, what it is that you are in control of, and so you're looking at where you can exert your power, where you can be in control. All three? Okay. And I feel like there may be just, like, a tiny bit... Oh, Sun card coming out again. Wow. Yeah, you're really focusing on, like, your willpower here. There's, like, a lot of interesting characters coming out in your spread really quick also, Cancer. I'm feeling like these could be people you're dealing with, or this could just be energy that you're embodying. So we're going to look at both. You've got the Page of Wands coming out in the reverse here. This is what I'm getting, is that something that you're passionate about, and honestly, it may be like somebody you're sexually attracted to, or like just your sexual desire and your sexual passion in general is like something that has really taken a back burner for you lately, because you have the King of Wands coming out in the reverse, and it's not the only, like, masculine, you know, and like I said, gender's fluid, but it's not the only kind of, like, you know, energy coming out here on the spread. So it's like I'm seeing these as almost archetypes to describe the different aspects of you, right? So the aspects of you that are kind of taking the forefront. And I'm really feeling like you're wanting to, like I said, I really feel like your love and your sex life is really taking a back burner here. Like, I feel like you've been focused a lot on, like, your finances, with the King of Pentacles coming out here, and you've been focusing a lot on, like I said, your power, your personal power, your willpower. This may be focusing on areas of your life where that, like, okay, so yeah, finances, but there's also business. So these are the same, they're in the same wheelhouse, obviously. but you may actually be focusing on like your work persona is something I'm getting here, or like you may actually have gotten a promotion or a raise or something where that it's like you have had to focus a lot of energy on your work and on the way that you are showing up in the workplace. And as you know, you may be supervising, you may be managing, you may be the owner of a business, and you're having to really focus on that hat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like you're wearing the crown here as the emperor. So you're definitely like focusing on your coin, you're focusing on your power. With the sun coming out, the sun does represent happiness and joy and fulfillment and, you know, a sense of kind of like childlike joy, right? Like it's basically like wild abandon, right? Like, which is great. So you may be actually having a lot of fun also, I'm getting, like, so you may actually be enjoying this, but the sun also talks a lot about willpower, you know what I mean? And so what I'm getting here is that you are definitely coming from a place of like power. Like that's just what I'm getting here is like, and you also have the Queen of Swords coming out, and this is still feeling like your energy. Like I actually don't feel like these are really a lot of other people that, like at first I was kind of like, who are all these people? But I'm actually getting that this is just representing different aspects of you. So that was the other message I got at the same time. And so I'm going with that one because I feel like this is going to get complicated really quick. But so you've got the Queen of Swords coming out. And this really tells me that you've been focusing on your intellect and being, in a lot of ways, I think, really cold emotionally. Like you may be putting a lot of things aside here. Like I really was getting like your yeah, like you're putting your emotions and your desire aside right now, and you're just focusing on practicality. You're focusing on your physical world, like your like I said, your money, your power, your whatever it is. But here's what I'm getting also is like you've got the Strength card coming out in reverse. You could be dealing with a Leo, also earth signs, which is Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. You could be dealing with an air sign, Aquarius, Libra, Gemini, just throwing out the signs that I'm seeing on the table. But the Queen of Swords is really telling me that like you have been really very like particular. And the other word that I'm getting here is that you're being very like cutthroat is a word that's coming through, but you're being like very serious about like who you spend your time with. You're being really serious about like you're just being very cold. Like I feel like, like your friends might reach out to you and be like, hey, do you want to hang out? And you're just kind of like, nope, sorry. You're like, I'm busy. I have shit to do. I'm not interested in hanging out with you. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you've been just kind of very guarded of your time and energy because you're just focusing on just getting the bag. Like you are not tripping on anything else right now. Like seriously. But here's the thing is with this Strength card in reverse, Cancer, I'm kind of getting that you might be starting to get to a point where you're just kind of like, okay, like, you know what I mean? I've got this other stuff is on lock. Like I don't even have to worry about this stuff. Like this stuff is great. Like I'm doing great in these areas, okay? And like I said, with the Queen of Swords is really all about like speaking your truth, being intellectually like logical. So you're being very logical, but in a lot of ways I think you're being really cold because you've got the Prince of Cups coming out in reverse, which is the Knight of Cups. I don't feel like you're making any offers. I don't think you're receiving any offers. I mean, you may be receiving offers, but I don't think you're taking them up. Like I don't think that you're, like I just feel like you're, like I said, for whatever reason, it's like your emotions and your desire. So like, and not your desire to be powerful, or your desire to, achieve, your desire to be stable. It's like, no, that all of that stuff is happening. Like that's definitely getting channeled in a big way. But it's your desire potentially for like intimacy with others, your desire for just like, sexual expression and emotional intimacy. Like I feel like that is being put on the back burner. But with the Strength card in reverse, it's kind of telling me that like I don't feel like you're going to be able to keep that up for very long. Like and it's so funny because I don't know why, but I'm just, okay, so like this person is like riding the lion, right? And like for whatever reason, I'm like really like visually drawn to like just this person's hips and the way that they're like riding this lion. Like it's coming off kind of sexual here. So I feel like you've managed to like tame the beast for like some time now in order to like direct that energy into being focused on these other specific areas of your life. But what I'm getting for you, Cancer, is like I think you're having a harder and harder time with that. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh. I really don't mean to laugh at you. It's just, that's usually how it goes. Honestly, we repress something, and then it starts to kind of rear its head a little bit. And it's kind of like, okay, like you've done all the other stuff, so like what's up with the other, what's up with this though, you know? So like it's kind of funny, it's kind of cute, but you know, like I'm getting, yeah, Ace of Swords. I think you're gaining a little bit of clarity here, and like I really don't think you're kind of thinking about it logically almost. It's almost like you're starting to be like, okay, like, you know, I do need, like, I do have needs, you know what I mean? You're kind of like, I have needs, so how am I going to get those needs met without, like, you know what I mean, interfering with this or that, you know? The real question is why this, I mean, this happens a lot. And just give me a second, Cancer, I'm sorry. It's just that this, every time I shuffle my cards, it's like rocking the camera, so I just want to change that. Okay. So anyway, what I'm getting here is like, so that happens a lot, and it's not anything to kind of worry about and be like, well, what, you know, why is this something that I'm repressing? It's like a lot of times it's just, we have goals and we have, you know, specific like focuses in life, and sometimes we do need to put love on the back burner in order to like pursue those things, you know. And especially during like a pandemic, it's kind of like casual sex is like, you know, unless you really are just like out there playing the game like that, then it's like, you know, casual sex is just really not that viable right now, you know? Like, I mean, unless you're, like, having safety conversations and you're really being, like, picky, which I'm getting that you are being really picky, Cancer, but I feel like you're being picky to the point where, like, you might not be engaging at all, you know what I mean? Which is, like, fair, because I feel like it takes a certain amount of trust to believe that people are actually acting right out in the world, right? Because you're just like, if you ain't acting right, then you're putting me at risk, you know what I mean? And anybody else that's in my life. So it's kind of like, it makes sense that you would be cautious. You may be overworking yourself, though. You got the Eight of Pentacles in reverse. You may be overworking, focusing a little bit too much on this, and that's, I think, the point of this reading, is to look at the balance. Like, how can you balance yourself out here? So let's go ahead and clarify. So why is this King of Wands in reverse? You know, we're going to look at that. Knight of Wands. Okay. See? See, because I really feel like you are like, this is gonna get reckless here, Cancer. Like, I feel like this is gonna get reckless if you don't figure out like why, you know, what's going on with this. Because what I'm getting is like, you don't want to downgrade, okay? Like you don't want to move backwards here. So that it's like, if you I'm sorry, it's just so funny. Because if you are having these desires and you're repressing them, it's like, it's going to come out in ways that are just like inappropriate, or not inappropriate, but it could get reckless. Okay. That's what I'm getting here. So why is this Knight of Wands coming out here, Spirit? Why is this Knight of Wands coming out here? Oh, that's so funny. Oh shit. Five of Wands in reverse. Okay. We're not going to take those. Five of Wands in reverse. Yeah. I feel like in a lot of ways, you just kind of don't want the drama that comes along sometimes with this whole sort of game, because the deal is if you play the field, there's other people on the field, you know what I mean? There's competition, and not only that, but it's like people can be like, you know, like I said, it's almost like this trust thing again, is you're kind of like, I don't know if I trust that you don't already have somebody that you're dealing with, or that you actually are, you're not like, you know what I mean, gonna bring drama into my life, or you're not gonna like, or this isn't gonna be like a relationship where there's, you know, or you know, a connection where that there's gonna be conflict between the two of us. I feel like you really have repressed this and put this off to the side, because you're just like, you know what, it's just like, people just bring me fucking trouble here, you know what I mean? So you're like, I would rather be focused on me and my life and my world and like my money and shit, than be focused on you know, finding somebody to connect with like that. Because it just, you know, maybe that's been your experience, you know, or maybe that's the way that you're seeing it. Two of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I feel like you are blocking your heart here. You know, you're protecting yourself, but you have to recognize to a certain extent that it's like, that might just be your perspective because of experiences you've had in the past, and you don't want to let that like stop you necessarily. Like, it's so funny because even in this deck, these two people have masks on, and I think that this deck was around before the pandemic also, but it's like, you just want to know, how are you out there playing the game? You know what I mean? Like, how are you moving through the world? Like, are you actually fucking being like, you know, straight with me? Are you just saying whatever you need to say in order to like, you know what I mean? Like, do some shit. So, can we get one more card on that, Spirit? Are there any other cards? I feel like there's another card that wants to come out for that. Thank you so much, Spirit. Nine of Wands. Yeah, you're just feeling guarded. You really are. I feel like that's part of the reason why you're not, and this is the point of tarot here, and in my opinion, and the way that I like to do tarot is it's like the point is to dig deeper and figure out, like, you know, because you already know what's going on in your life. You know what I mean? Like, you already know to a certain extent. A lot of this is just affirming where you're at, and then we're looking a little bit deeper to see, like, why this is where you're at, and then we're gonna get into like advice and how do we move forward and what is it that you really want. You know what I mean? Like, that's the point of tarot. It's not for me to sit here and just like tell you what you already know. You know what I mean? And like I said, not every single thing I'm gonna say is gonna resonate with every person. You know what I mean? If it does, that's awesome. I'm definitely tuning into a specific Cancer, but you know, if not, it's just like take the pieces that help, right? So I do feel like you are guarded to a certain extent, and maybe because you've been wounded in the past. Six of Cups coming out. I'm really interested why that came out, to be honest. I didn't really have a lot of intention when I was shuffling just then. It kind of wanted to fall near the sun here. So I feel like, you know, maybe, I feel like you do want happiness and you do want connection, you know. Let's clarify the Strength card in reverse. Why is the Strength card in reverse here, Spirit? Why is the Strength card in reverse? Okay, the Devil. Yeah, okay, interesting. So this is interesting because basically what I was getting, like I said, is I feel like to a certain extent, it's like I feel like your strength is starting to, because the Devil doesn't just imply negativity, okay? This is really talking about like carnal desires. This is talking about sexual desire. This is, you know, and a lot of times those are the things, like our desire, our lust, you know, all that sort of thing. And not in a religious way, y'all. Like, I just mean in general, it can really cause us a lot of trouble, and we can get addicted to certain things, and then it becomes toxic and out of balance, and then we're bound to it, and we have sex addiction because we're just, you know what I mean? It's not in balance. And so what I'm getting is, it's like, I'm not getting that it's all that, okay? I'm actually just getting that it's like I said, and I can't believe it. I don't know why I think it's so funny. I'm like laughing because it's like, you know, you're just at a point where you're just like, God, you know what I mean? You're just like, I'm having a hard time. I'm having a hard time now, okay? I was doing good for a while, and I was focused on my bag, but now I'm just like, fuck me, you know what I mean? And not literally, but Jesus Christ, excuse me. Okay, but so this is what I'm saying is that, like, to a certain extent, though, it's like this is starting to come up, okay? And I feel like it's starting to rear its ugly head on you, okay? And you're just kind of like, okay, what do I do? You don't want to get to a point where that you're afraid to play the field because you don't want to get hurt. So then you're going to end up probably taking the route of a casual sex type situation, and then that's when you're putting yourself at risk, though, because you don't want your to get your heart involved. So you're not going to be necessarily looking for like a good person who's like compatible with you, or like someone you can trust, when like that's necessary even for casual sex these days. Like, it really is. Then you at least need to get to know somebody to a certain point where you know that they're not just like playing stupid games all over town, and then you find out later, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be able to trust that what they're telling you is true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, are you safe? You know what I mean? Or are you going to, like, you know, are you bar hopping, you know what I mean, every weekend, and like not wearing a mask around strangers, and like going home with strangers without having a safety conversation? Like, when was the last time you were tested for STIs? You know what I mean? Like, these are questions you just have to ask people. And if you're not, then it's like, okay, then that's the reckless life you want to live. Cool. But I'm just saying that it's, you know, I'm not trying to necessarily judge people, but it is, even before the pandemic, you should be having those conversations with people. You know what I mean? Like, what, seriously, because you're putting yourself at risk for more things than just like something that you can take a medication for. You know what I mean? There's things that you can get that you're never going to get rid of, and it's going to change your quality of life forever. Okay. And I shouldn't even have to name them. Okay. So it's just about safety, right? So you're an adult, you understand this. Hopefully you're an adult. These videos are definitely for 18 plus, okay? But what I'm getting is that it's like, I feel like if you repress this for too long, though, that it's going to come out in this way where that you're just going to like have a random hookup with somebody, and it's just like, you know what I mean? You're going to regret it, or you're definitely going to be like, you know, it may not be that you regret it, but it's going to leave a question mark where you're just going to be like, well, fuck, you know, do I need to go and get tested now? Do I need, you know what I mean? Which you could just avoid all of that anxiety by just getting to know someone enough to have that conversation, figure out what their lifestyle is like, yada, yada. You know what I mean? Build a little bit of trust at least before you have casual sex, because if that's what you're looking for, see, I feel like it's just all going to come out at once. Sorry. 10 of Wands in reverse. I feel like you really do want to, yeah, I feel like you're feeling a little burdened right now. Okay. Anyway, forgive me. I don't want to get off too much on that, on this like moral superiority shit where I'm just like, you know, you should do things a certain way, yada, yada. Like, I'm not your fucking mom. You know what I mean? I'm your homie. Like, I'm your friend. I'm here to like help encourage you to make wise choices. So I may say some shit, but like at the end of the day, it's your choice and you're an adult and you take the risks that you feel comfortable taking. You know what I mean? But that's just what I'm getting, is that you may be feeling guarded to, you know, anything more than sex. And so that's why you've been repressing all of it, because you just, you know what I mean? You just don't want the drama. You don't want the conflict of like a relationship or a connection, you know, a serious connection. Ace of Wands. See, this is what I'm saying, is I feel like you're kind of, your sexual desire is kind of leading the way here. And I think it's because you've put your heart on ice a little bit, you know? Like, I feel like you've put your heart on the back burner, and your emotional connection, your emotional, how do you say this? Like, yeah, like I feel like your need for emotional connection, which we all have, like, you know what I mean? But we may just not want it, you know, to a certain extent, because we associate it with all of these other things. And so we're like, well, I don't want to also, you know what I mean, get hurt. I don't want all these other things, but, you know, I'm definitely feeling, you know, desire. So this is what I'm getting, is I feel like you want a new lease on life, you know, so to speak. I think you want to change the way that things are for you right now, but I feel like you're you may be kind of not, I'm not gonna lie, like, this is what I'm getting, is you may be kind of avoiding the deeper thing that's going on here, which could definitely be like an emotional thing, like where that it's like, you know, I feel like, and you're a water sign, Cancer, like, don't fool yourself here. Like, you know, I feel like you're coming through with all this like earth, fire, you know, energy, air energy, but it's like, you know, deep down, like, you really, really do have like a deep emotional side here. And I feel like that's a lot of how you live your life usually, or at least like it's definitely a big part of who you are. So I feel like, you know, you've been putting that on the back burner, you know, and it's like in layers almost. Like, you've suppressed your emotional side, and then you've suppressed your desire, you know what I mean? And then you're putting everything else first. So it's almost like as you get deeper into what it is you're repressing, you realize like, okay, I'm repressing my sexuality and like my desire. So you're like, but the deeper repression is really my emotions and the way that I associate sexuality and connecting with people sexually with, you know what I mean, past relationships, past conflict, drama, you know what I mean, pain, getting hurt, whatever it is. And so it's almost like, you know, I feel like you're getting one layer deeper now, because you're starting to, I feel like, slip a little bit here, where that I feel like your strength is wearing thin, and you're kind of like this desire starting to well up, right? But like in the deeper parts of that, I really do feel like it's emotional. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like I said, it's like it's gonna come out, where that like the sexual part is gonna, I feel like, gonna come out, but the emotional part is like you're still trying to, you know what I mean, keep it under wraps here. So can we clarify a little bit more about the Prince of Cups in reverse? But I feel like you have a new beginning coming with your emotions here. Yeah, interesting. You've got the Sun card coming out in reverse at the bottom of the deck, which is just telling me that, like I said, this is the area that I feel like you're avoiding the most, and I feel like this is the area that is causing you the most distress, so to speak, that I feel like you've kind of been like, you know what I mean? So you've got the Four of Pentacles and the Three of Cups coming out. So what I'm getting here is that the Four of Pentacles is like, you definitely have been focusing on your money, and I feel like you're in a lot of ways, you're afraid of opening up, because you, like I said, you know, with this Nine of Wands, it's like you've been wounded before, you know, and I'm not saying you haven't, and this is super common, this happens all the time, and, you know, you just may not want to admit it to yourself. I think that's really what I'm feeling more than anything. It's not that you don't understand this concept of like, I've been hurt, I don't want to be hurt again, so I'm closing off and focusing on other things that I do have power and control in. Because when you have an emotional connection with somebody, sometimes you do feel like you've lost control of how you're feeling, and you lose control of the situation because you can't control other people. You know what I mean? So they may cause you distress or pain or sadness in some way, and it's like you really can't control the way that other people impact you when you have an emotional connection, because you've opened that door. So then it's like somebody could say or do something, and whether you like it or not, it's going to impact you, So I'm not saying those things didn't happen, I'm just saying that now you're at a point where that you're really holding back and holding on to what you have in order to make yourself feel safe. That's really what's going on here. You know what I mean? And it's not like something to judge yourself for or to beat yourself up about. It's like, that's just literally what we do as humans. Like, it's what we do, and it's okay, but this is what I'm getting is that you're going to have reason to celebrate soon. And I really do feel like this is also telling you to, be open to meeting people and be open to having fun and connecting with people on a real level, because, this is cups energy, so this is about emotions. This is about sharing joy, happiness, fun, and so, I mean, maybe you will end up hanging out with some people, maybe because you've been, kind of like suppressing, that too, where it doesn't seem like you're really spending time with friends a whole lot, so this may be like you get an invitation to go do something, and it can actually lead to some type of new beginning here, because you've got this Ace of Wands coming out. You know what I mean? So that's just the thought. It's a possibility here, of course with safety in mind, because that's just how I am. I'm your fucking grandma, and I'm going to tell you to be safe no matter what. But with the Three of Cups, I really do feel like this is you connecting with people on like a more heartfelt level. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's what you have been suppressing, and you're afraid of that concept, because you're just like, I just don't want to care about people. I don't want people to care about me. I just, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm really getting for you. And it's kind of heartbreaking, because like, I just think, Cancer, like I said, you're like a really deep feeler. You're a deep emotional, being. As I'm going to clarify the Queen of Swords, we've got the Queen of Swords in reverse as I cut the deck here. So that what I'm getting here is that to a certain extent, like, you have been really quick to cut people off. Ace of Swords, that you really are gaining clarity on this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like you're I feel like you're actually starting to look at it, because like I said, I feel like you're starting to slip a little bit here, where you're starting to be like, okay, the desire is coming back. Like, I'm starting to want to connect with people again, and you know what I mean? And definitely I think that sexuality is taking like the forefront of that, like I said, because it's in layers almost, where that it's like you've suppressed your desire, but deeper beneath that is the suppression of the emotion. And so I'm getting that like your desire is starting to come out. But here's what I think, okay, and this is just my feelings about it, is that it's very possible that if you don't act on your desires necessarily, you know what I mean, immediately, then I think the third layer, that deeper layer of the emotional, vulnerability, I think that's going to surface next. And you don't have to be afraid of that, Cancer, because when that happens, I feel like then it's going to be like a cleansing, where that I feel like you're actually going to be like, holy shit, like that's really what's going on here, is that like really I actually, and you may already know this, like I feel like you are intuitive enough and a deep feeler, like really, like, and it's a beautiful trait. It really is amazing. And there's not, I feel like, because water signs really do share that, and it's not, I'm not saying that other signs can't, but I'm just saying that Cancer, that like you have a lot of really beautiful traits, and I feel like you don't get enough credit for them. And I feel like, because I'm a Scorpio, I'm a water sign, so it's like, I just feel like people really talk up Scorpios a lot, and like to a certain extent, like as a Scorpio, it's kind of like I just want to like, I want to give love to other signs too, and be like, well, y'all have great qualities too. It's not like Scorpios are just like the deepest, sexiest, most intuitive, like like, you know what I mean? It's just so obnoxious. At a certain point, I'm just like, yeah, that's all cool and everything, but like I don't want people to fucking hate me because you know what I mean? Because everyone keeps talking about how Scorpios are the best and shit, and I'm just like, that's so annoying, because Cancers are awesome too. So like I just want to say to you, like, I feel like that it's so cute, the idea of you connecting with people on a friendship level, connecting with people to like, you know what I mean, have fun and open up and like talk to people and like, you know what I mean, and yeah, just kind of like recognize that you're holding on a little bit really, you know, tightly to what it is you have because you just don't want to get hurt again. And it makes sense. It's totally normal. Like, this is what we do as humans. But I feel like that this desire is actually a good thing because it's showing you the deeper implications of your needs and what you really desire. And so it's not just sex that you want. You know, you want closeness with other people, but you just don't want what it is you've had in the past, and which is fair, you know. So I feel like you're going to find the balance, and you're going to start off slow, you know. And that's my advice to you, at least what Spirit is saying and what it's coming through, is that to, you know, recognize that, like, you may have kids here, because the Six of Cups does represent relationships with kids, or relationships that you had when you were a child, like relationships with your peers or with your parents. But this is kind of coming through because I'm pretty sure I'm talking to an adult here, is that you might have kids, and this coming out to clarify the Sun card is telling me that you might be having a lot of fun with your kids right now too, and like that might be a real source of joy for you, is what I'm getting here, which is like really, really sweet, and I love that for you. If that resonates with you. But like, I'm going to clarify the Queen of Swords real quick, because I just want to see what the Queen of Swords is all about here. I feel like it served you well. Interesting. Nine of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Yeah, because what I've been getting from you in this reading here is like really, it's just... I think you're just trying to come off like really cool and collected, and you're trying to come off like you've got it all under control, but like I feel like deep down you're actually like, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you don't have things under control, because I really think you do. I actually think you're killing it right now. Like, I think you're bossing up, and you know, or not even bossing up, like you are bossed out. Like, I don't even know how else to say that. Like, you've got it going on here. Okay, so this is definitely something that's you know, you've got, and it is solid. But I feel like I said, I feel like you're trying to keep people at arm's length, because you just don't want everything that comes along with relationships, and not just romantic or sexual relationships. I mean friendships, anything like that, you know what I mean? So you've got the Fool card coming out here to clarify this. So it's like, in a lot of ways, I feel like, you know, you really deep down do want a new start, and especially this Ace of Wands coming out. It's like you want a new start, you know, you want to move forward, but you're not, you know what I mean? You've got the Eight of Wands in reverse. This is talking about like a lack of action, a lack of movement, a lack of communication, really, too. So it's like the Queen of Swords is usually somebody who speaks her truth, you know, and like I said, gender's fluid, but speaks their truth, and you know what I mean, is a really clear communicator, very logical. But they're the type of person who, you know, has their sword in one hand and their hand open in the other. So it's like they're willing to hear you out, they're willing to talk to you, you know what I mean? They're willing to have those conversations, but if they need to, they can cut you off too. You know what I mean? So there's someone who can be kind of ruthless, but they're ruthless in a way that is like, you know, it's boundaries, it's protecting themselves and being, you know what I mean? They're just not going to be taken advantage of. They don't take no shit, you know what I mean? So you've got the Two of Wands coming out here. I feel like you are optimistic about your future, though, and this is part of the Fool card here, is I feel like you are optimistic. You do have a certain amount of joy. I do think that you're proud of yourself here for what you've been able to accomplish so far, and I feel like that you're in a place where that you are coming off. This is how you're kind of coming off to the world in a way. It is just like, you know what I mean, where you're like, you're passionate, you're optimistic, and you know, you're in touch, you know what I mean, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you've got that going for you, like, a lot. Seven of Cups in reverse here is kind of telling me that, like, you've cleared up the confusion. Like, you're not confused about where you're going from here. You're not confused about how you're going to get to where it is that you're going. Like, you're not like, you know, oh, do I do this? Do I do that? It's like, no, you've got a clear set plan and goals, okay? And this is what is coming through with the Emperor and the King of Pentacles, is that you are, you know what I mean, like, you're a big boss daddy over here, okay? And honestly, like I said, gender's fluid, so just take that however it resonates. But like, you seriously, you're bossed out, you're doing it. And so, you know, I'm just getting here is that this sexual desire thing is definitely like a parent, and I do think that it's an aspect, a thing that's going on for you right now. So, you know, like, to be really frank, you know what I mean? So I just think that it's like you're definitely feeling that way. But you don't necessarily, you're still guarded because you don't want, you know what I mean, like conflict, drama, you don't want anything like that. So you're really holding back a lot, and you're guarding yourself a lot. But like I said, the more that you do that, like I feel like you're repressing, and repression can lead to expression, and it can lead to kind of like explosive expression, where that you can end up, you know what I mean, making decisions that are just like not very responsible. And I just feel like that's not really who you are, Cancer. Like I feel like you are a very responsible, well thought out, logical person, but in this area of your life, like I said, even with friendships here, like I feel like you really should take people up on their offers. Like if you have friends who, you know, as long as they're friends who are healthy for you to be around, and they're cool, and you know what I mean, everything like that, and they're like, you know, inviting you to do stuff. I'm getting kind of someone might invite you to like, you know, to go to like a bonfire or something is what I'm getting, that you might take them up on their offer and spend some time with friends and actually like open up a little bit more. And I think that's going to help with you, you know, kind of connecting more with yourself on a different level, because it's not going to be like you're connecting with people for the purpose of potentially sleeping with them. You know, maybe that's you know, a possibility here, but like I said, it could come out in ways that it's like, you know what I mean, you might end up like hooking up with someone where you're like, oh shit, you know what I mean, maybe I shouldn't have done that, you know what I mean, or like, you know, or that was kind of like, I don't know this person at all, like I don't know what their lifestyle is like, because if they're just gonna hook up with me and they don't even know me, then like, you know, what else have they been doing, what did they do last night, what did they do last week, you know what I mean, you don't know. So it's like you need to like, I feel like just blow off some steam in your own way you know what I mean, and get in touch with what's really going on a deeper level, why you've been repressing yourself in that way, you know. And I feel like because when you are able to like clear that stuff out, then you can start from a place where you're actually ready to, you know, start to get to know somebody again, you know what I mean, and build some kind of trust with someone, where that you can then have like you know, a healthy kind of connection, where that you've like, you know, you've discussed all the things that need to be discussed, you've kind of like talked about your lifestyles, you realize that like, okay, like we're compatible enough where that it's like almost like laying the precedent for having a consistently healthy sexual relationship with somebody, right? It's like, you're okay, well, you know, we've done all the other things, so now that that's done, you know, then like, you know, we can, so it's like working backwards almost, where like, so instead of leading with the sexuality, you're gonna like be able to dig deeper and then actually like turn inside out in a way, which like sounds kind of crazy, but like not in a wild ass way, but I just mean like where that you're able to then start leading from a place of like, hey, you know, and you can be honest with people too, Cancer. You don't have to be this big baddie, you know, daddy, where you got like everything under control, and that you don't have emotions, and you're just logical, and you're bitch, I'll cut you off, like, you know what I mean, which is like super, you know, I'm just saying you don't have to be like that. Like you can be vulnerable, and you can be honest and say like, hey, you know, like I really like you, I'd like to get to know you better, but like I'll be honest with you, like I really need you to be straight up with me, and I really don't want, you know what I mean, anything that's gonna like, you know, cause me stress, because I've got like a lot going on. And so, you know what I mean, what are you looking for, what's your deal, what's your lifestyle, yada yada. Like have that conversation and be really clear, like, hey, I'm guarded, I'm not the easiest to get close to because of this and that, but if you're down for that, we can keep getting to know each other, and like maybe it can go somewhere cool. And so, you know what I mean, like I'm just encouraging you to try and look at things through a different perspective, and gain a little bit more, you know, awareness of yourself and what's really going on within you, so that you don't end up focusing it all on sexuality to the point where you're just like, that's what you're leading with when you do start to get back out there and connect with people. And so then you're not going to be cold and calculated and you know what I mean, just full of desire. You know, you're gonna be more balanced, because you'll have worked through this. And I'm really feeling like connecting with friends for some reason, Cancer, is really actually going to help a lot, because it's going to help you get back in touch with connecting with people on a level that's not, you know, based around this desire, because I feel like that's what you're wanting to do. But I feel like if you're able to kind of like work through it a little bit more first and start to engage with people on a friendship level, it's going to help you work that out, where that you're not going to be like repressing all your emotional stuff, because you have to a certain extent, to connect with your friends, is you got to connect with that part of yourself to a certain extent, you know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that's what I've got for you, Cancer. I don't want to keep going and going, so I'm going to go ahead and end it here. I feel like that was a really solid reading. I hope it helped somebody. If it did, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to support me and my channel. If you need a dream interpretation, my contact info is in the description box below, as well as my donation links. If you want to drop me a donation, it really means a lot. And yeah, that's it. So anyway, thanks, and I hope to see you again next time. Bye-bye.